Stellantis is teetering on the brink of a crisis with problems piling up faster than the company can handle. CEO Carlos Tavares is facing backlash from all sides, dealers, shareholders, even the UAW. His so-called cost-cutting crusade has seen layoffs, buyouts, and moving jobs overseas to lower-cost countries. But it's not saving Stellantis from a downward spiral. The company's stock has taken a nosedive, and now investors are suing, furious about the dismal earnings from the first half of the year. As if that weren't enough, key executives are abandoning ship, and Tavares is desperately planning a leadership shakeup to salvage what's left. But does he even have the time? With pressure mounting from all corners, it's unclear if Stellantis can pull out of this tailspin. Then there's a looming threat of Stellantis' North American headquarters in Michigan. The governor there is pleading with Tavares to keep Stellantis' Detroit area presence intact. But the automaker is dodging any firm commitment, leaving Michigan and the local economy on edge. How long before Stellantis pulls the plug? Tavares is also clashing with the UAW in what's shaping up to be an all-out war. The union is accusing Stellantis of backing out of their promises to reopen their Illinois plant and other labor agreements. A charge Stellantis denies, but actions speak louder than words, don't they? Stellantis has filed 11 lawsuits against the UAW and its local chapters just this month, while outright rejecting the UAW's proposal to revive the job bank program. It seems Stellantis is doubling down on confrontation, making any resolution look unlikely. The problems don't stop there. Their U.S. sales plummeted 20% in the third quarter alone, with a 17% decline year to date. Even slashing prices and boosting incentives haven't been enough to revive the struggling automaker. Industry experts like Jessica Caldwell of Edmunds are blunt. Stellantis brand customers are hit harder than Toyota buyers, meaning their key demographics are simply priced out. Dealers who are stuck with overflowing inventories and few new models to sell are openly furious. Stephen Wolf, for example, a Stellantis dealer in Houston, sums up the situation perfectly when he says, "We've lost Cherokee, we've lost Renegade, we don't have any cars anymore. It's not just a shortage of models, it's a death by a million paper cuts." The product landscape doesn't offer much hope either. While Stellantis is busy touting future releases like the electric Dodge Charger Daytona and the Ram 1500 Rev, or REV, dealers are left with little to sell today. Sure, there's talk of new models like a mid-sized Jeep in 2025 and a cheaper Renegade in 2027, but what are dealers supposed to do until then? Stellantis' challenges are far from being solved overnight, and it's clear that even industry insiders are losing confidence. So the bottom line is this: it's grim. Stellantis is drowning in problems of its own making, and it's unclear if even a major overhaul can save the company from sinking deeper and deeper into crisis. Those are my 2 cents. For what it's worth, you can find and see the lowest advertised prices right now on new and used vehicles in your area just by visiting quotes.everymandriver.com. Just use that drop-down menu, select the make, model, and your zip code, and you'll gain insider access to dealer pricing. If you don't like or find what you want in your area, expand the zip code, no big deal. If you're willing to drive a few miles outside your area, it'd be smart. You could save a few hundred, possibly a few $1,000s on a new or used vehicle right now. I know prices are high, but these are the best prices you can find in your area. Quotes.everymandriver.com. There's also a direct link below this video. If you thought the automotive recall crisis had peaked years ago, think again. The harsh reality, recalls are accelerating at a frightening pace with no signs of slowing down. In fact, we're staring down yet another year where over 30 million vehicles will be recalled. 30 million. Since the historic high between 2014 and 2016, not a single year has seen fewer recalls, and 2024 is shaping up to be just as disastrous. To date, a staggering 21 million vehicles have already been recalled, with 6.5 million occurring in just quarter 3 of this year. Let's be clear, the auto industry's safety failures are spiraling out of control. These numbers paint a grim picture, especially for those who thought the worst was behind us. Tesla, the so-called beacon of innovation, is leading the recall charge once again with nearly 1.9 million vehicles affected in quarter 3 alone. Sure, they might pat themselves in the back for their ability to manage these issues through over-the-air updates without sending customers to dealerships, But don't be fooled. Recalling almost 2 million vehicles in a single quarter is a massive red flag, regardless of how convenient the fix might seem. Worst yet, the leading cause isn't mechanical, it's electrical systems, which have been responsible for 6.3 million vehicle recalls year to date in 2024. Welcome to the new age of computers on wheels, where vehicles break down more like glitchy smartphones than reliable machines. Is this really considered progress? Now, you might be tempted to find solace in the decline of park outside and do not drive advisories, but that would be missing the forest for the trees. Yes, those specific warnings are down from 2023, but they barely scratch the surface of the underlying safety concerns plaguing the industry. The top four automakers, Tesla, Chrysler / Stellantis, BMW, and General Motors, are responsible for a jaw-dropping 85% of all Q3 recalls. These are not isolated incidents. They are clear evidence of systematic issues deeply embedded in the manufacturing and design process of today's vehicles. When nearly 85% of recalls are coming from just those manufacturers, it's just not a coincidence. It's a glaring problem. So, why is this happening? And more importantly, why does it keep getting worse? Automakers are increasingly trapped in a cycle of rushing to market, responding to stricter government regulations, and desperately trying to avoid the catastrophic PR fallout that accompanies accidents or fatalities linked to faulty vehicles. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is proposing even more stringent vehicle design rules, which has manufacturers scrambling. But let's not lose sight of the fact that the biggest driver of these recalls is the growing complexity of software-driven vehicles. Today's cars are more like supercomputers on wheels. Do you agree? This tech overload is making vehicles far more vulnerable to glitches and errors and security flaws. Is this really the kind of advancement that consumers were hoping for? While over-the-air updates offer a step forward for convenience, yes, they do fall short in creating a comprehensive service experience. This is what Ryan Mayer, the CEO of Busy Car, warns about. He says, quote, "Recalls represent a critical chance for dealerships to engage directly with consumers through options like mobile service or pickup drop-off, offering personalized care that over-the-air updates can't match." Mars Points drives home a key issue. Over-the-air updates may have increased from 21% in 2023 to 34% this year, but they are not the solution that some automakers would have you believe. The majority of the vehicles still require in-person fixes, and for many drivers, the thought of yet another trip to the dealership is enough to make their blood boil. The bigger, more concerning issue is how this recall crisis has been allowed to fester. Millions of recalled vehicles are still on the road, unrepaired, posing ongoing safety risks to drivers, passengers, and anyone sharing the road with them, even cyclists. The recent investigation revealed an alarming gap in tracking, communication, and customer convenience, which has allowed these ticking time bombs to continue circulating. In a sign of just how urgent the situation has become, recall management company Busy Car recently secured a $15 million investment to expand the use of AI and automation in resolving recalls. But here's the burning question: will that be enough? And here's the bottom line, and it's not pretty. Over-the-air updates are just a temporary fix for a much larger and more dangerous problem. The truth is, the majority of recalls still require drivers to visit dealerships for repairs, and the systems for handling these issues is woefully inadequate. Automakers are facing increasingly complex challenges that they can't seem to keep up with, and the result is a recall system that is failing consumers at every single turn. So while the industry may tout software patches are the future, it's clear that the road ahead is anything but smooth. Do you agree? If you're waiting for the recall crisis to resolve itself, do not hold your breath. This nightmare is far from over, and for the average consumer like you and me, it means more trips to the dealership, more time off the road, and more safety concerns that refuse to go away. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with the latest insights from the automotive world. Hope to see you next time. Today's video is brought to you by The Cold Plunge. Use discount code DAVE150 at checkout at thecoldplunge.com. Immediately save $150 off your purchase. That's DAVE150 at thecoldplunge.com. There's also a link below this video.